and I was trying to make everything as smooth as possible for when we got on
You're
the plane.
jumping way ahead now. This is the flight back.
I know, I'm just explaining you at an airport is what's going on. And I was all this stressed guy, I was roasting hot. Then I look over and himself is having what looked like the most idyllic time, just scrolling on his phone, chatting away, and I was there, sweat pumping out of me, making sure I had the passports to hand, making sure everything. I was like, this fella's just happy out in his own little world.
That's what it looked like to you. And you know what? I'm delighted that's what you saw, because what I was actually doing, right, was there was a lot of mental gymnastics. I was like, I need to be the calm presence in Harvey and Hunter's life here now.
Right.
So they'll see me calm, and then they'll replicate that, because they're sponges and they love impressing me at the moment. So I'm like, if I'm calm, then they'll be calm, and they were calm, and then you came back onto came back into the whole scenario, and then that calmness went out the window again. So even though sometimes it looks like I'm not doing anything, it looks like I'm having a good time, it looks like I'm kind of dotting. I'm actually working hard. I'm like the swan. I'm floating over the lake, but underneath the legs are going like the clappers. So thank you. You're very welcome.
And I do think like I have a control thing on it as well.
You're a control freak, is it? Sorry. No,
I just said control thing on it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said you were a control freak, because that's not what I was thinking. Hello and welcome to Conversations with Cornelius. I'm a comedian. This podcast is about my life, my wife, my likes and dislikes, hurling, football, movies, sex, drugs and rock and roll without the sex, drugs and rock and roll. There are going to be special guests and always regular contributors, but mostly it's going to be me and my main squeeze, the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. I'm your host, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, and today we are not in the Fearless Digital Network studios. No, it is the heart, the zenith of the summer, and people need a break. Climb a mountain, jump in a lake. Some jet off to exotic places. I usually go to the Galway races. I have a friend who likes Joe Dolan. He's a friend who's mad about potholing. Oh, let's do Varna.
Oh my God, you simpleton.
Let's do Varna. The boys are on holidays. The team are on holidays this week, but the show must go on. The podcast has to go out because we insist upon it. So I am in my own studio here in Killavullen. I'm at home, inside in the Newmarket room, aka the good room, also known as the sitting room, also known as the place where we all just kind of sit down and lounge and watch television late at night. And I am joined, thankfully, by my much better half. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage your friend and mine, the queen of my life, Noelle, Patricia, O'Sullivan, Nee, Maracu, and the crowd go wild.
Wild.
Usually we have a bit of an old clap in the background.
You'd miss the clap.
You'd miss the clap. Well,
Not.
what kind of a clap would you miss now? You'd miss the applause, maybe. Yes. Yeah.
What was the clap again?
Was it some sort of a sexually transmitted disease? It was like
A virus.
some sort of a. Speaking of virus, I think I got bitten in the bed last night. I have a huge.
Not by me.
Well, unfortunately not. But I got some sort of and I mentioned to you casually, I think we might have a bed bug, and you were like, "Con, bed bugs are a very serious thing. You just got bit by a fly or something like that."
Yeah.
It's still sore.
He goes, "Yeah, I know, but like you jumped you jumped from getting a bite to we've got bed bugs." I mean, there's a big difference. If it happened consistently for a few days, then you'd be like, okay, we have a problem. But you went straight into we've got bed. I mean, you're changing mattresses. You're like,
okay,
what's the word?
Sure, I don't know.
Decontaminating. You're something the whole house. Like if
you're decontaminating the whole house. All right.
You had fumigating the whole house if you had bed bugs.
Bed bugs.
They're an awful dose.
They're an awful dose, is right. Anyway, I got bit in my leg and I have a little football attached to my leg. And,
did you take the antihistamine?
I didn't take the antihistamine. Okay, I'm good at complaining. I'm not good at fixing those complaints. Okay.
You need do you not get it by now that I don't dole out any sympathy until medication has been taken?
Okay. All right. So you're just not sympathetic is what you're trying to say to the people
No,
out there?
until
Yeah.
if you had taken the antihistamine and it was still, no, I'll give enough. Like I'll go, oh, Jesus, yeah, that is very swollen, taking antihistamine, which is what I said to you.
Okay. I might. I'll think about it. We are not going to go and play trending topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan today, because we have just come back from Edinburgh, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and we're going to talk about that. We were there for a couple of days. We went for, was it 3 days?
3 nights.
3 nights, 4 days.
Yeah.
3 nights and 4 days. We stayed with my sister Mary and my 2 beautiful nieces in the suburbs and just on the outskirts of the city, leafy suburbs. My sister lives in a boarding school, a 200-year-old boarding school. Her husband Ian is a high performance rugby coach in this school, and part of their package is they get to stay in the school in this ancient building, and it is absolutely beautiful because it is on, it's on like several acre ground, like I would say maybe 40-50 acre ground, with lovely old trees and walkways, and it's just a delightful place.
It's like living in the middle of like a heritage park or something, isn't it? Like
it had Harry
Phoenix,
Potter vibes as well.
Phoenix Park or Killarney Park. It's like living in the middle of that.
Yeah, that'll be good. That's a good description of it. Really, really beautiful.
And then walk out the door and you get a bus
straight into the city,
Edinburgh City, in 20 minutes.
Oh yeah,
like it's just the coolest place. Like, as for us who barely can get the local link, which doesn't even. You'd still have to walk.
Well, we'd have to walk. If we were to get the local link, it would take us 7 or 8 minutes. Or would we get it outside the door here?
Not outside the door, but I think up the road there's an unofficial stop. But it could be hit and miss. My nerves wouldn't be able for an unofficial stop.
Whereas the bus system in Edinburgh, look, I suppose it is a modern day city as well. But there's buses every 10 minutes.
And if you're only living just outside the city as opposed to us outside.
It's absolutely we're country bumpkins. We live in the sticks, and you need a car. We've 2 cars, 2 aging automobiles at this stage of the races now, but they're necessary for our life. Our kids are at Cool Camp this week, so we're over and back with Cool Camp. If you have to go to town, if you have to go to a shop, you have to hop into the car and drive to get there. There's no convenience whatsoever, whereas it's city living. And it's something that when we were buying this house, I remember when we were buying this house, we were looking at, we had nothing in particular in our mind. We were looking at city, we were looking at towns, we were looking at country, and eventually then we settled in the country. But city, there is something appealing about city
Yeah.
living. I don't know whether we're thin now. No, in fairness to Mary and where they live, they have the best of both worlds because they are out in the middle of this most beautiful, luxuriant nature park, as you kind of described it yourself. And then 20 minutes later, you're right back in the middle of the piss-stained city of Edinburgh. And Edinburgh's an amazing city because it is so different. It's like a city on top of a city, really. It's so old. And then there's like aspects of it that are like really modern and really new.
Yes, yeah.
It was just the most wonderful time we had now, and it was great to go over and to meet my sister. It was our first time I did the Fringe a few years ago, and I stayed with Mary, but it was the first time we went over as a family. You and I went over there again before I went to the Fringe when we were courting.
That was like 10 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah.
Children. No children. Pre-kids. That was the boys' first time on a plane as well, which was exciting. They were so excited about it. I mean,
2 small boys, 9
night before
and 7.
And they were, the night before, they were just buzzing. It was like Santi was coming the following morning. Like Hunter was like, I don't think I can actually sleep. But you know what was interesting?
Do you know he came into us again in the middle of the night last night?
Sure I moved out.
Did you move out?
Yeah.
Go away.
My back was sore. So I took 2 Panadol from your side of the bed and then I went into the other bedroom.
All right. Okay. I didn't know that. Like, I can't say no to him. Like, he woke up in the middle of the night and I heard him outside going, Mom! And I was like, she's in here, Hunt. And then he came, and then like the old look on his face, like the old your child wakes up in the middle of the night, they're kind of they're just half afraid. There's just little dotes he didn't know. He was like, huh? I said, you all right, pet? Yeah. I said, do you want to come in here? Okay.
Yeah. Well, see, that's normally when I'd go in with him.
Yeah. Because I'm not leaving my bed.
Yeah.
But I just like, I don't know. And then when we'd watched this television program last night on Netflix about some true story crime thing that's on Netflix, and it was the biggest waste of an hour and a half of my fucking life. You fell asleep. I said to you when it was over, I said, at least you fell asleep for half of it.
At least it was only a waste of 45 minutes of your life.
You got something out of it. You fell asleep through half of it. I endured the whole lot. It's about some murder case, some three drug dealers that got assassinated in a Range Rover back in 1995. Don't watch it.
No way.
I would give it 2 thumbs down is what I would give it. Can't even think of the name of it. That's how bad it is. But it was just great. Edinburgh. Anyway, back to Edinburgh. It was just fantastic. The boys, first time ever on a plane. The excitement levels were off the Richter scale. We all set off nice and early. The flight was at, was it 9 or half 9 or something like that?
Thereabouts. But I have like
about 2 a.m. to get there. Fucking hell.
Well, I think would you have liked to have left it any later than we left?
Well, we did have a good bit of time hanging around in the airport.
Yeah, but
But for the first time, I suppose at the end of the day, I actually don't mind getting in early, as long as you're not in 3 or 4 hours early.
Oh God, no!
You know,
I'll just think it's like anything. Like, why cut it that the whole travel time then is stressed? Like anywhere we're going, we always give extra time. Like if we had to be somewhere in 3 hours time, we'd probably leave ourselves 4 hours.
Yeah, and Harvey, who is autistic, our oldest son, he needs the plan as well. He needs to know, well, we're getting up at 6. At 6:30, we will be getting into the car, and the journey's going to take 45 minutes. We're going to be at the airport at 7:15. We're going to park, and then we're going to walk from the car park into the airport, and so on and so forth, and so on and so forth. He does need that plan.
Hunter was like, oh yeah, I saw that in a book at school. About the airport, like.
Oh yeah, what was he saying about it?
I think that was parking the car, was it, and walking down.
Yeah.
But that was the thing that
duty free is what it was.
Oh, it was the duty free.
It's the duty free. It was like, are we getting duty free? And you were like, how do you know about duty free? He's like 7, like. Oh, we learned it in the book in school. Yeah, I know a lot about stuff.
But no, they were great for the flight.
Good boys.
Of course, then with Ryanair, with Ryanair, you get free, kids are assigned seating with an adult. So, of course, they put on the boat flights out and in, which is actually interesting because my passport is Noelle Murphy, right?
Okay.
And they're all O'Sullivan on their passports.
Yeah.
And you were O'Sullivan.
Yes.
And on the way out and the way back, they automatically put the 2 kids with me.
With the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good thing from my perspective.
Yeah.
I had a very pleasant flight over and a very pleasant flight back. I saw, especially on the flight back, I just saw you were in the middle of them, and the 2 boys were like Duracell bunnies, wound up, and they were like, just asking questions, looking left and right, trying to hit each other as well across Noelle, and I was just looking on.
Well, that was the way I'd probably describe the entire travelling airport experience with you for this trip, and actually for every trip we've been on.
What?
Like that you just look on and like follow along.
I'm you're a leader, and I like to follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Remember,
follow the leader.
The one thing, do you remember, so I should explain myself on this one is Connie, if I told Con that we were flying, he would know you'd barely know where we're going.
Hold on a second now. I would know where we're going. We went to Edinburgh. Who drove up?
To Cork Airport.
Yes.
If I'd have told you
put diesel into the car.
We're actually flying from Farnfore.
I would fucking put it into Google Maps and drive down to Farnfore.
But my point is that you wouldn't actually know anything about the travel arrangements.
Yeah, we divvy up the work. You do the flights and I do the other stuff.
But there was a couple of moments that I was like, oh my God. Like, one of them was, I forgot the one that I was thinking of, but I have plenty more. One of them was on the way home. We had to split the kids up for the travel back because they were starting to drive each other light. And the airport was really busy as well. So Connie sat with Harvey, like in eye shot, but away from us. And myself and Hunter were sitting down, and I was trying to get my handbag into my carry-on bag, and I wanted to make sure that the carry-on bag didn't look too big. I wanted to make sure that the boys' sandwiches, which Mary had very kindly made, were accessible in the bag, and I was trying to make everything as smooth as possible for when we got on
You're
the plane.
jumping way ahead now. This is the flight back.
I know, I'm just explaining you at an airport is what's going on. And I was all this stressed guy. I was roasting hot. Then I look over, and himself is having what looked like the most idyllic time, just scrolling on his phone, chatting away. And I was there, sweat pumping out of me, making sure I had the passports to hand, making sure everything. I was like, this fella's just happy out in his own little world.
That's what it looked like to you. And you know what? I'm delighted that's what you saw, because what I was actually doing, right, there was a lot of mental gymnastics. I was like, I need to be the calm presence in Harvey and Hunter's life here now.
Right.
So they'll see me calm, and then they'll replicate that, because they're sponges and they love impressing me at the moment. So I'm like, if I'm calm, then they'll be calm, and they were calm, and then you came back onto came back into the whole scenario, and then that calmness went out the window again. So even though sometimes it looks like I'm not doing anything, it looks like I'm having a good time, it looks like I'm kind of dossing. I'm actually working hard. I'm like the swan. I'm floating over the lake, but underneath the legs are going like the clappers. So thank you. You're very welcome.
And I do think like I have a control thing on it as well.
You're a control freak, is it? Sorry.
No, I just said control thing on it.
Sorry, I thought you said you were a control freak, because that's not what I was thinking.
But remember, we got to the airport, and I was like, you were like, it says gate 20. I've got to say gate
3 and 4 actually as well.
3 and 4.
Again, this is we need to go. You're not a storyteller.
I'm just talking about airport time.
Right.
Could be out or in.
Okay.
Same thing. It's at every airport.
Right.
And
it's mixing me up. Like, I mean, I like to tell stories from the start, then go to the middle, and then go to the end. But you're like, let's go to the end of this story.
Well, I'm just talking about airports and travelling with you. And Connie looked up at the board and he said, we're boarding. It's gate 3. Gate 3, it says. I said, okay. And I turned to him a small bit later and I said, I'm doing everything in my power not to find another screen and have a look. And he was like, what? I said, this is taking a lot out of me not to double check what you just told me. And he was just laughing. And then...
Okay, all right. I'm just going to a little. Okay, so you're saying that I can't be trusted. Okay, with information. So the lads were hungry, right? This is about a minute or two later. I said, look, there's a Burger King up here. Let's go here. We get a Burger King. You said, grand job, no hassle. Now the airport's super busy. I said, look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get the seats. I'll find us seats. I'll take the boys and I'll find us seats. You get the order. No problem. What you want, love? I said, I'll just have a bacon double cheeseburger meal, small, Manda Manjaro. Perfect, no hassle. And then you were asking the boys what they wanted. And then you came back to me again and you said, sorry, love, I forgot what you wanted again. What do you want? I said, I'll just have a bacon double cheeseburger meal, small. You came back then with a large Whopper meal for me. So look, we all make mistakes.
No, I didn't get a large Whopper meal. I got a normal size meal.
Did you get me a Whopper meal?
I didn't know what the name of the burger was.
Bacon double cheeseburger. Did you ask me twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
they didn't have a cheeseburger option.
They did, darling. It was on it. Bacon double cheeseburger. Stop. Listen, this is the thing, right? You need to realise when you're wrong, because I'm wrong a lot, okay? And I will hold my hands up. Here I am now illustrating a situation where you were wrong, and here, live on the podcast, you still won't take any credit for it. I don't like fucking Whoppers.
Why not? Because there's too much meat.
I just don't like them. I prefer the bacon double cheeseburger in the small one. Even if I was not having... the small bacon double cheeseburger in Burger King is absolutely amazing.
You see, I remembered the bacon. I remembered the cheese.
Yeah.
It was the type.
Bacon double cheeseburger is not a Whopper.
Bacon double cheeseburger.
And I said it to you twice and you asked me twice.
Yeah, but you see, I had to mentally think of all the kids as well, and I didn't want to over order.
Sure, I had to mentally think of the kids as well when I was trying to find a seat. What I'm trying to say here is, you're not fucking perfect. Stop trying to say that you're perfect.
Can we get back to the fact that you had looked at the checking in gate?
You're just attacking me.
Where
You're attacking
we're
me.
flying out from.
Sorry, what?
That you were completely wrong about the gate number.
I was trying to wash over that fact, Noelle, with the bacon double cheeseburger and a little fucking anthology of a story that I had. Anyway, let's forget about the airports.
They were great.
It was great, actually. The flights were great. The boys had a great time, and we got through nice and easily. And it was,
Yeah.
lads, Edinburgh from Cork is an hour in the sky.
Yeah.
I timed it like an hour in the sky, and you're into a different world altogether. And I like Scotland. It's not exactly England. Do you know what I mean? They're kind of have Irish vibes.
There's Irish. They're quite Irish, really, aren't
Yeah.
they? The Scottish have the same Celtic kind of.
They got the Celtic. Yeah, they're Celts. They got that Celtic vibe. We landed over anyway into Mary's gaff, and her husband, my brother-in-law Ian, was in South Africa, heading off to South Africa, taking this school, like, it's a real posh school. It's like a boarding private school. It's really expensive to send your kids there, like. So pre-season rugby trip in South Africa, like, that'll tell you how, like, exclusive it is. So unfortunately Ian wasn't there for the week or for the weekend, so we couldn't hang out with him, but it was absolutely fantastic to hang out with my sister and my two darling nieces. They're with their Scottish brogues. So weird when you have the same experience with your brother in Canada, when your two nephews have Canadian accents, you know, and you're looking at these girls and they could be from Mallow or Ballyclaw or Ballincollig or Talk or do you know what I mean? And they're there with their wee Scottish brogues. Hello, Uncle Connie. That's not really a great Scottish accent.
I would.
Uncle Connie.
No,
I'll get it before the podcast is over.
Give it a good
Uncle Connie.
It's just you could do the male one, but you can't get it into the girl.
Well, that's like a very unfortunate sentence there. You cannot put it into the girl. Jesus Christ.
I'd say
This is an 18-year-old. This is an 18th podcast.
Well, actually, do you know that Harvey, our hunter, was on YouTube this morning looking at Chuff, and he found you. He typed in Cornelius, and he was going to go into one, and one of your bits came up of the are you happy with the sex? I was like, Daddy's stuff is not suitable for you, Hunter. If you want to see some of Daddy's material, you got to ask Dad and he'll show you some of the stuff.
I'll have to write some specific children's comedy for him.
Speaking of children's comedy,
lovely segue. Lovely segue. We when we arrived over anyway, day one when we arrived over nice and early. I was actually sick. I had been battling a fairly heavy cold late last week. So when I landed over, I was like, I was miserable. I was really feeling miserable, but I was like trying not to.
I know, you did very well. I am smirking at the idea of
Go on, how do you fucking smirking at?
battling a very heavy cold.
I was battling a very heavy cold on our holidays, and I was feeling very despondent about it. I know. I was feeling very gabronach about it.
But battling a very heavy cold, it's like...
I was, but I was, do you know...
No. And you were sick, but just the idea of battling a very heavy cold. Like usually a cold is minor and then you have a flu.
Yeah, I was close enough to the flu. And I still have a little bit of it inside me.
Do you?
I'm still a little bit phlegmy and stuff like that, but you wouldn't hear me complain about it, guys. You won't hear me go on about it. I'd soldier on silently.
Tell us about your battle anyway.
But anyway, I was battling this very heavy cold, right? Struggling through the day, bravely and hardly mentioning it, only every 5 minutes. But Mary had the plan anyway to do absolutely fucking nothing
on the day we arrived,
which I always think is a great thing to do. You know, you land on the day, you just settle in, and we watched television, we ate some food. The kids were playing with each other. I was going to say they got to know each other. They kind of know each other anyway, but they kind of, when
settled back into each other,
exactly,
kind of like,
and settle into a routine. And then the plan was we'd go to bed relatively early, we'd get up the next morning, and we'd head into the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the biggest arts festival on planet Earth. 3,000 shows every single day, ranging from plays to musicals and predominantly stand-up comedy shows. I've done the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. I've done it twice. I brought a solo show there a while back called The Family Guy, and then I've actually been there 3 times. The next show I did was a show called The Irish Alternative, which was a compilation show, and then the first time I did it, I just went over as a kind of a raw comedian and hopped on did spots. But this time I was going over with my family, and I had absolutely no intention of doing any shows, just to experience it and take my kids to some comedy shows and just experience it and have it. And it's an amazing festival, and the weather was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah,
and
great.
So we woke up on, we'll say day 2, which was the Saturday?
Friday.
The Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Friday, Saturday, yeah, the Friday. And we, as we said at the start of the podcast, we used the public transport, which was the bus. There's a little bus stop right outside the school. And we hopped on the 45 and double-decker and went right up to the top. The boys were getting their trills, sitting in the front, like as if you're driving the bus. And in we went, and the two, like, we're all culchies. You were a culchie, I am a culchie, and our 2 boys are country bumpkins. Like, I mean, they were like looking around left and right and up and down, and it was mesmerising for them.
Yeah.
And in we landed anyway, into the middle of, right into the middle of the hectic Fringe, and Mary and the 2 my nieces, Coco and Sylvie, and Harvey John and Hunter Con and Noelle Patricia and Cornelius Patrick. And off we went hand in hand in to try and find a comedy show. And we were looking around, and then we saw this kids comedy show, and I thought, Mary's kind of angling for a circus, but we had gone to the circus here in Ireland recently, and I wanted to show the kids comedy. I wanted to show them stuff that they wouldn't ordinarily see. So we booked this kids comedy show in a little theatre called the Piccolo Theatre, which was like a little circus for all the worlds, right?
Yes, yeah.
And it was
a lovely venue, actually.
Lovely venue. And it was in this place called Underbelly, in the Pleasance Arena. And weather was gorgeous, got our tickets, and we ambled in and sat down, and we had to wait about an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And it was,
so we sat down outside, like there was picnic benches with food stalls. So I suppose for anyone who hasn't been to the Fringe, there's different pockets of like food areas that have lots of venues off them. And then there's obviously loads of other venues throughout the whole city. But there's different pockets that are kind of more, are they the more organised areas? Like this was a garden area that had a couple of venues.
There's loads of companies running venues within the Fringe, okay? Then there's the paid Fringe and there's the free Fringe, right? And we were at for this event it was one of the paid Fringe venues, and the company that was doing that was, the name is escaping me now.
Original, or there was something. Name
escaping me. But they, like, each company might run 50 or 60 venues. Yes. There could be 10 or 15 venues or companies, and then the free Fringe, like I know there's the Laughing Horse now is one of the free Fringes. They could have 150 little venues, and the venues, lads, can range from, a 1,000-seater venue to a horse box that holds 8 people.
Yes,
right? It's quirky, it's cool, it's contemporary, it's old school, it's Victorian, it's sci-fi, it is absolutely beautiful, and it is enchanting as well, but it is also extremely busy. Like where we were waiting for the show, as you were describing it there was like loads of benches, food stalls all around, face painting, people coming up flyering for their shows, like you're just inundated, like, and then unique ways of flyering, people coming along with ukuleles singing songs to you to try and get you to come to their shows, people dressed as clowns flyering, and then just like regular comedians coming up. It's just it's relentless, it's non-stop, it's high energy, and it can wear the battery down as well. You'd want the battery to be full, you'd want your internal battery to be quite full for it, but anyway, we found our bench. Mary took her kids up to get face paints. You sat down. I got us drinks. I got you a drink and Mary a drink, and I got pizzas. And then you were sipping away in your drinks. And at this stage, I said to myself, "Jesus, you're on holidays here now, Cornelius. Why don't you have a pint?" Haven't had a pint since the Munster final, Cork and Kerry, on the 10th of May. And I said, "Feck it, I'd go down," and I got myself a beer. So I had the one beer anyway, and We had to wait about an hour, but it was great because it was like seriously interesting.
Yes, yeah.
Loads.
Looking around.
Yeah, getting our vibes. And our kids were running around the place. Harvey was running around with Noelle's phone, talking into it as if he was a vlogger. Hunter was just like a blue arse fly all over the shop. But we were all keeping an eye on him, obviously. We were eating our pizzas, drinking our beers. I think he had mojitos, was it? Or Aperol Spritz or something like that.
Aperol Spritz, yeah.
Aperol Spritz. The sun was shining. We were on our holidays. Everything was cool. Everything was great. And then we were just about to go in when I spotted our good friend, Niamh Kent, and her 2 kids. And we were like, oh my God, hi, how's it going? And
it was random, like. We were meeting them the following day.
We had arranged to meet them the following day. But we just met Niamh randomly. And she was like, oh my God, very good, are you here? And we were literally going into a show. And we said, Niamh, sorry, we're just going into a show. But we went into her show anyway. And the first show was a kids' comedy show. And there was a host, an open act, and a closer. The host... I tell you now, I really wanted the kids to experience comedy.
And it was a comedy show, like, wasn't it? It was a good example of a comedy night, like, yeah.
It was called Kids Comedy Club, and it was like a comedy club.
Yes.
So there was a host, and there was like an open act, and there was a headliner, and like kids, I'd say maybe, would there be 150, 60 people there?
Oh, I wonder.
I think there probably was.
I suppose there was, yeah. It fitted in a lot, yeah.
I'd say there was at least that in there anyway. And it was full, and obviously parents in with their children. And the whole, like, I was like, this is money for rope. This is money for old rope, because like parents will take their kids to anything. Do you know what I mean? And the MC came out and he was just making kind of fart jokes. And then they brought out, the opening act was a poet who was really, really good, but I didn't think was a great young child entertainer, because his linguistic skills were amazing, but a lot of it went over the younger kids.
Probably like, I would describe, if somebody was doing like Room on the Broom style, what's that, Julia? Like that type of poetry, but these are all new poems to the kids, so they didn't catch it. You know, those books are fabulous because the kids learn them over time and they experience it through the pictures, and you know, whereas these were poems that were new to them.
Well, they were his poems, and they were good, brilliant language, like real. He was from
London or something.
No, where is he from? That seaside town now. Again, that's escaping me. Cromwell, no, what's that name? Not Cromwell, not Oliver Cromwell, down there by the south coast. Cornwall, yes. And he had, like, it was really, really good, but went over a lot of the kids' heads. And I thought to myself, okay, that's poor opening act for the crowd that were there. But then the 2 lads that came out next then were a double act from Australia, and they were absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Harvey, I was sitting beside Harvey, and he couldn't stop laughing. Loads of farting jokes and loads of act outs and
animation and animated faces.
Yeah, and it was all over them within the hour, because all the shows there are actually 55 minutes. That's the law. You have 55 minutes, and then you have to come out for 5 minutes, and then a new act comes in, and you file all the people out and file all the people in. It's military operation, and we spilled back out anyway. And when we got back out, Niamh and the 2 boys were sitting down on the bench still, and Chris had joined them, and so I thought it'd be rude not to sit down with them and have a beer. And this is about maybe 2 o'clock in the day, and we stayed there then till about 7, drinking pints in the sun. We went to no more shows, but our kids are good friends with their kids, and they were running around, and then we had my 2 nieces there as well, so there was like 6 kids, and it was very child friendly now as well.
Yeah. And it was in a not enclosed area. There was an entrance and an exit, but like you could kind of see them for most of the time. But the kids they had done this competition of spin the wheel, and they'd won free tickets to shows. So Harvey and Jack were around trying to sell those tickets to people.
It's hilarious.
Like, they were the best flyers of the whole Fringe.
They actually sold the tickets. They got
sold
20.
Anyway.
They got 20. They made £20 between them. No, they were working all day for that £20, and we were giving them plenty of encouragement. We were watching them, obviously. It was very funny. At one stage, they came up to our table. We were on a long bench, and there was people sitting at the end of the bench, and they tried to sell the tickets to these people at the end of the bench. And of course they didn't buy them, you know, and off the lads went again. And then those people were like, oh my God, where are those people? Where are those children's parents? And I was like, we're here. We're actually here, and they're grand. Do you know what I mean?
These were young, hipster type for them. I was like, you have no clue what it's like.
Oh, they were like, oh, when I'm a parent, I'm going to be this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
no,
I'm going to go on. I'm going to go all out mind of mine.
Yeah, yeah. We're on holidays, mate. Okay, we're having a few bevies with our buddies from Cork City. Go fucking egg, you know.
Jesus, con.
Anyway, we got.
And there was lovely, like there was random. Remember the African dancers and the gymnastics and. These just random stuff would appear and entertain you for like 20 minutes and then move on. And
it's a fantastic festival, lads.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. We went away home anyway, and then the next morning we got back up and Mary had booked tickets to go and see another show. Olaf, yeah. What was his first name? Olaf Falafel. That was the name of the entertainer. Olaf Falafel. And his was a silly show. I loved Olaf Falafel. Harvey loved Olaf Falafel. Noelle didn't really like it. My sister didn't really like it.
No, the kids. So we didn't like it because the kids didn't like it. So Harvey loved it. He's 10. Hunter's... Oh yeah, he's 9.5. Hunter's 7. Coco's 7. And then 5... Sylvie's 4. And it was just a bit over... like too old for them.
Yeah.
So they were kind of, so then you're not settled into it because they're not settled into it. You're like, do you know, they could have been looking to go at any minute. That was the vibe.
Yeah.
Like, but they kind of settled into it then. But you'll be glad that it's only the 50 minutes. Like,
yeah. Whereas I thought it was great. He had loads of tricks. My takeaway from it anyway was, and Harvey, he brought Harvey up on stage. So Harvey made his Edinburgh Fringe debut.
Yes.
And Harvey loved the jokes. And my takeaway from that was the last kid show we went to then. But my takeaway from it is I should do a kid show over there because they're so easy to sell.
Especially if you have like kids in the name, because you're so overwhelmed with what's available that you're really searching for the kids. Like, do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's straight away there that it's telling you as like it's a kid show, rather than having to see the age section or what's next, like
the greatest children's show of all time. No, I don't think I ever would, because I think you're not going over, like I wouldn't be going over there to make money. You'd be going over there to
work in a show,
to work on a show. Like I'm hoping to go next year now, but and bring my current show Pull Hard over there and do a second show, which is I'm trying to write at the moment, but kind of do like a work in progress with the second show. So there.
Like I was asking you, because when I was there and I was seeing all the comedy and the flyering, and you know Chris was there and he's doing the entire run, and I said to you one of the days, I was like, how does it feel to be here and not have a show on? Do you know? Yeah,
and a very valid question, because normally if you're at something like that, you might be itching to get up on stage, or you might be going, I should be here, oh fucking hell, what am I doing? Why didn't I book it? Or why didn't I try and apply? I didn't have any of that. I had none of that actually, because I don't know why really. I suppose because my plan is to, like, I'm still on tour with my current show, and my plan is to really, when I go over there, to work on a show. Like what Chris is doing is he's almost ready to go on tour with his brand new show, and he's utilizing Edinburgh as a place where you can harness and mold and sculpt and trim the fat off of
because you must get so lean at it when it's every day.
If you're doing the show, like, I mean, it's bulletproof by the time you come out of there, Noelle.
Yeah.
Like, you're in there for 28 days and you're doing a show every single day, and you're doing the same show for 28 days in front of a different audience every single day. And then you come home, you've got you should have your beginning, your middle, your end, your jokes, your punchlines, your tags perfect. And
every kind of add-on that came to you during the show that happens.
Exactly.
All of them added and ready to rock.
And that's it. And so I wasn't one bit envious, or I didn't feel one bit left out. I was actually enjoying the show. I was enjoying the festival tremendously, and it was nice even to be just like I was watching flyers going around the place, And I kind of had, like, as I was watching things, I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that now next year. We won't do that next year. Let's what we do this year. Do you know what I mean? You and I were kind of strategizing for next year what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And I was enjoying that aspect of it. Anyway, day 2 finished. We came home. We got an Indian. We stayed up really late. Myself and my sister had chats until 2 a.m. in the morning.
Righting the world, as the man would say.
Fixing the world's problems and talking about this, that and the other. Very emotional and beautiful. And then we got up the next day and my sister very, very kindly said, look, I'll mind your children. Why don't you go into town there and have a bit of time for yourselves? And we said, okay.
The words weren't out of her mouth and we were gone.
Zip. My plan was I wanted to go and see some comedy myself. I wanted to see some shows myself, and I didn't want to go and see anything that I knew or anybody that I knew, because I think sometimes when you do that you kind of go in with preconceived notions. And also it's nice to well, I was hoping to be inspired is what I was hoping to do. So and then you wanted to do a bit of shopping. What's the name of that place that you like to get the scents in? What's that called?
I wanted to go to Rituals.
Rituals.
Perfume.
It's a ritual of yours to go to Rituals when we're in a different city. And so we got the bus in. We went to this place for breakfast. What was it called?
Oh, I can't remember. It was delicious.
Fairly posh place. Cost £52. Noelle had lobster for her breakfast. I had a fry. I had a vegetarian fry, and it was nice, but they got it wrong. They got the order wrong, you know. I wanted poached eggs. They gave me scrambled eggs, but they were still nice. I didn't complain. Do you know, sometimes it's just so what, like, do you know what I mean? There's no point in complaining unless there's something actually wrong with them.
Well, and if they weren't nice, like if your scrambled eggs weren't nice, you just said something.
Exactly. And you lobster roll, is it?
No, I had a eggs Benedict, but instead of bacon, it was lobster.
I should have tasted the lobster. I've never had lobster. Was it nice?
It was nice enough. Yeah.
So then we rolled out of there, and we were and this is the thing I was saying about Edinburgh. We were at the opposite side of the city to where we had been the previous 2 days, and it was just as busy, and it was just as transient and wild, and in fact, we were kind of maybe in a more posher area because there was a lot of theatre shows on. There was people flying for theatres, and
I thought it was rougher. No.
Oh, I didn't think so. No, I didn't think so. I thought it was. I definitely thought it was the types of shows that we were being flyered for as well.
Right.
I'm talking about the first part where we were at now, not the last show that we went to. I'm talking about the first place.
Oh, sorry, the first place.
The first place that we went to. You know, when you went to Rituals and we walked down, we met this lady who was flyering for her theatre show. And
yes.
She tried to give me a ticket. She goes, I can give you a ticket. And I was like, no. I said, I might go. And I said, but if I go, I want to pay for the ticket, you know? And I said, you know, you're an artist and I'd like to pay. And she goes, oh, what are you talking about? Artists don't make money. And I thought to myself, that thoughts become things there now, you know. If you say that, then that will be the case. You know, you need to try and make money, or here to try and recoup your costs. And most people that go to the Fringe, they lose thousands of euros. It's a very expensive festival to take part in, and you know, I mean, just accommodation alone can cost you thousands and thousands. And then you have to get into the flyer, you have to buy flyers, you have to get posters, you have to get into the app, you have to get into the book, then you have to pay for flyers. It's really, really expensive just to recoup back the money. And then if you're doing the free Fringe, which I'll more than likely do next year, then there's pros and cons to that. Usually it's easier to get people in because it's free. But then when people are in for free, you know, you do a bucket at the end, and not everybody will throw money into the bucket because people are like, oh well, it's free, you know. I wasn't going to pay any money. I don't know what accent that is, but so anyway, so I took a few flyers, and then there was I met the first comedian who was flyering for his own show, and I kind of was like, okay, fair play to this guy, he's hustling.
Yeah.
I think I might go to his show. And then we walked down to Rituals, and then I said, okay, I'm going to go to this show. It's on in 10 minutes. I'm going to leave you now and we'll rendezvous at this point. And I went to the show and I was very disappointed. Really disappointed. I just was disappointed. I thought the stand-up was okay. The venue was nice. The show was grand, not the best show I've seen.
It was his own show, right?
It's his own show, but you know what I didn't like about it, right, is he was referring to notes throughout the show without telling the audience that he was referring to notes. And I was sitting at the front, I think there was a weird thing as well. There was only about 10 or 12 people at this show, and the venue could hold maybe 70 or 80. And I know what it's like as a comedian. You want people to sit up the front. People think, they don't want people. People are under the impression that they don't want you to sit up front. Every comedian wants you to sit up the front because it's better for interaction. It's better for the comedian to be able to see you, to be able to interact with you, to get energy back from you. So he asked us to sit up the front. I sat up the front, and then he did a bit of crowd work at the start, which is unusual. At a Fringe, when you only have 55 minutes, you usually kind of, if you are doing crowd work, it's a minute or two and then you get into your stuff. But he leant into the crowd work, and he was good enough at crowd work, and then he talked to two people, and then he went to me and he goes, so how are you? And I was like, I'm good. And what's your name? I said, I'm Cornelius. And he goes, is that an Irish accent? I was like, yeah, it is. He goes, and what do you do? And I was going to say, I'm a car salesman, but like, I'm not a car salesman, I'm a comedian. I said, I'm actually a comedian. And I think there was a bit of a weirdness then between him and me, because he didn't know me and I didn't know him. And
you're on your own.
And I'm on my own. And he's like, what's a fucking comedian coming to see me for? Do you know what I mean? Like, he might have felt under pressure anyway. That's the vibe I got. His show was grand. Now, I didn't think it was the best show in the world, but I didn't think it was the worst show in the world.
Yeah.
But what really annoyed me, two things really annoyed me, right? He was just giving out about everything. And that was his shtick, okay? And then in the middle of his show, he mentioned that, he was very close to his grandfather, and then he moved on with his show. And then we'll say about 2 minutes before the end of the show, he was like, okay, I'm nearly finished my show there now, guys. And, it's a free show here, guys. But I have my sum up machine and I have my bucket, and I have the show's worth £10. So I have £10 put into my sum up machine. I think that's what it's worth, £10. So, yeah. And I was like, that's so presumptuous. Like, I had £5 in my wallet as cash, which I think for free shows is about the go of it.
Yeah.
Now I am saying that, it is free. It's not up to, an artist should get paid, but like, it was just the way it was very much kind of bullied into giving the £10. And I didn't like that. And then he went in and did his last joke and did his last bit and brought his grandfather back into it, who he had only slightly referred to at the middle of it and had really not much to do with the show. And then kind of did this kind of crying, like I felt it was fake emotions to try and evoke us, the audience, into feeling sorry. And I thought it was a bit gimmicky. I didn't like it. And don't get me wrong, no, I love emotions in shows. I love when it's real. And sometimes when you're doing a show over and over and over again, you have to try and find that within you. But if it's in you and if it's real and if it's authentic, then it's cool. But I just felt that it was fucking jackhammered.
Thrown in there at the end to...
pushed in there to try and get the emotion at the end, to try and get the audience to give you the £10. Anyway, I gave him his £10. It worked. And off I went and I met you. And then we went on our merry way to try and find one more show.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that show?
Yeah. So we found this show not via a flyer. We just came across this venue that had a couple of different shows on, and we were like, oh, time is ticking here now. We'd want to be picking a show. So we were like, there's a comedy show. It's a one-man show.
Yorkshire dad, immigrant mom or something, wasn't it? And
we were like, oh, this looks like it could be okay. We had a bit of a window. So I had a mineral and you had a little half beer.
Swift half. And we went in and there was 6 people in there. Mm-hmm. It was this tiny little box room theatre. 36 seats, I counted them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really confined. Like, it looked like it would fit 10, really.
Yeah.
It just, when you walked in, it looked like really small room. And so, which, it's funny because what the comedian said first settled you into it, but it made me go, I don't know what's going on here. He said, I hope you weren't coming for a comedy. This is actually just me talking my feelings, and it's kind of therapy for me. Yeah. So I was like, is he trying to be funny with saying that? Or is it actually a comedy? Or is it not a comedy? Yeah. So then he went in and he spoke about his family history. And I felt at the start of it, there was a lot of jokes. And then it went more serious with no jokes. And then there was the odd joke thrown in. So I was like, is it meant to be funny or not? Do you know what I mean? Like, I felt like there was punchlines that weren't punchy. A lot of full stops that if it was somebody else, they could be funny at that moment. So I was a bit awkward throughout the whole thing, even though I felt it was well written as like a memoir, maybe. But the fact that he had some comedy at the start, there was more punchlines of comedy at the start. It was like then it went serious and forgot about the punchlines. So I was like, oh, am I meant to laugh here? Give it a little snort or a little something, and especially when there was only 6 of us in that. But you really enjoyed it then, didn't you?
I loved it. And I exactly know what you mean, because I wanted to go and see why I didn't like the first one was I gone and see a couple of kids shows, and I've been looking at the apps, and there was a lot of compilation shows on early in the day, and all the more kind of shows are on from kind of 3 o'clock onwards. And what I mean by a show is like there's a theme to the show, a beginning, a middle and an end, and
it's one person,
and it's a stand-up show, and it's like they're this is their hour, and it's, you know, there's meaning in it, right? So when we went into this guy, and he was, I'd say, man in his maybe mid to early 50s, very humble, meek gentleman, and I felt really sorry that there was only 6 people there, but that's the Fringe, like, you know. And he was kind of, and he had 2 shows. He was running 2 shows. He's a one-line comedian. I never heard of him before, and I followed him on Instagram now since, and I'm going to give a review to his show today. He opened up the show with saying, "This is not a this is not a comedy show. If you're looking for a comedy show," and I was immediately pissed off, because I was like, "Fuck's sake!" Like, it kind of did say that it was a comedy show, like on the flyer, and I was like, have I been fucking duped into going to this? But it was like, there was loads of humour in it, and it was spellbinding, and it was about why I thought it was so good was I'm still thinking about it now, days after it, and he basically talks about his dad and his mum. His dad was in the war, and he met his mum in the West Indies, in one of the countries, or one of the Kirkua, I can't pronounce the name. They were in the World Cup this year, and she was from German ancestry, and it was during the World War, and like I should have known. And his dad was a Yorkshire man. I'm from Cork. I'm only interested in Irish things and Cork people and fucking hurling and football and do you know what I mean? But he made me very interested in what he had to say,
and following their history, like,
and there was proper emotion in it. Like there was 2 occasions where he sang, and there was audio visual in it as well. There was a lot of I just felt this is so well crafted, and it was new. It was brand new, and like when we were coming out, you were like, oh, it could be so. You were like, it's great. It was great, but it could be so much better.
Well, actually, I looked at it. He's performed that with a while.
Has he?
Yeah, it wasn't brand new.
Well, I'd say it's new. When I say new, he possibly took that to other festivals before he took it to the Fringe festival, but it's new within this year, or within it's new, like the way Pull Hard is new. Do you know what I mean? Like, he hasn't been touring this show for years.
No,
like, you know, and it's still finding, and it can take a year and a half, 2 years before a show finds its feet, like, you know. And why I loved it, Noelle, was I welled up at one stage myself, and I mean, and this guy welled up naturally, and there was no pushing of the show. There was no, I'm trying to sell you merch afterwards. You know, he just was there doing his art, and it didn't matter if there was 36 people, full house, or 6 people there. He didn't hold back. He gave it his all, and it resonated with me. And I loved that he was talking about his parents, right? And he was talking about how different his parents were from each other, and how different he is from his parents, but how uniquely individual they are. And we all are like that. We're all uniquely individual. Like, I'm totally different from you, you're totally different from me, but together we're a team, or we're parents, and we're, you know, husband and wife. And it was the human condition, and it really got into me now. Really, really got into me. And I loved it. And I felt, afterwards, I was like, I needed to see this show. This is what I needed now to help me write my next show. Because I'm an emotional fish anyway. I am an emotional person. And I think it fastened my idea of comedy coming away. The first show I went to is exactly what I don't want to be as a comedian.
Yeah.
And the second show is more in line of what I want to be. I want to connect with my audience. I want to be honest with my audience. I want to be real with my audience.
Yeah.
I don't want any gimmicks. I don't want to trick people to give me fucking tenors and buying my merch. If they want to give me tenors, if they want to buy my merch, amazing. But I don't want to trick them into doing anything. I want them to come and feel and take something away and have it in them for days and weeks and months and potentially years afterwards. And I found that with this show, and I loved it. And I would go so far as to say I would go to the show again. And it's very rare that you feel that when you're a comedian in particular who is in front of comedy all the time. Do you know? I'd love to go and see that again now. It wasn't uproariously gag heavy, but I had a permanent grin on my face. I was chuckling, and I feel as well, and this is the other thing as well, if you've a full room, laughter is contagious, you know?
Yeah.
So if there's a good laugher in an audience, people will laugh more easily. When there's hardly anyone in an audience, sometimes audiences kind of, they fucking clench up like a bubble. You know?
Yeah.
And they're afraid to let it out. And I absolutely loved it. I loved it. And I was delighted that I went to it, and I'm inspired by it. And then look, we have to go now. Right? Yeah. We got out of the show. We got back onto the bus. You and myself and yourself. We got a Greg's sausage roll. You got a pie.
It's lovely.
And it was cold, but you need a sausage roll cold. And we got back, and my sister drove us to the airport, and we flew back, and we landed, and we were up early the next morning to go to Cool Camps, and life goes on.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful little beginner trip, and I think it'll be the first of many, please God, for us, touch wood.
Yeah, exactly. It was great, and it was actually very good to just do the 1 hour flight, quick over and quick back with the kids to get them the idea of the plane. You know, we are going to Italy in a few months for a family party, so like they'll have a longer time away and a longer, because they were ready to come home even with the 3 days, like the what would you call it? The routine is gone. So there's only a window of that both boys can take before they start to.
It was a good practice run.
It's a good practice run, yeah.
Guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, like and subscribe and all that jazz. If you really like this podcast, me and the Queen, we do a Patreon every single week in this room on this couch. Sign up. The link is in the description. It's $5 a month, less than the price of a pint if you want to buy. Think of it as buying myself and Noelle a coffee each. Now, coffees are about £4 a pop. That's £8, but this thing is for $5. We'd love to have you on board. We have a lot of patrons who tune in on a weekly basis, and they stay with us.
Yeah.
We love you. Thanks a million.
Bye.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. See you in my dreams.